filthy.
T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What the fuck?
Follow us on Instagram.
You better follow me.
At Philly Jam 95.3 FM.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Rebirth on Philly Jams 95.3. It's your girl, Shay Marriott, and joining me tonight is the one and only.
Hey, it's your boy, Mr. Eli Isabel, a.k.a. The South Got Something to Say. Happy Monday, family. What's going on?
Happy Monday. See, I got it right tonight.
You got it right.
I got
Let's
it
go.
right tonight. You know, we was a little off the
With
last
no
couple of
rehearsal.
weeks.
You back on your issue?
I guess I'm back on my ish. What's up, Rebirth family? What up, Tri-State area? What up, Chi-Town? Welcome to the Rebirth on Philly Jams 95.3. Thank you for tuning in every Monday
Yes.
night at 7 p.m.
We are
in
here.
the building. Yes.
Faithfully. What's up? What's going on?
Listen, it's hey.
Talk to the people.
It's been a good week and good weekend.
Okay.
You know, so all is well.
What'd you
all
do
is
this
well. I don't know. Wait, I'm trying to
That's
think.
a good ass
Today's
weekend
Monday.
when you can't remember.
I know. That's crazy. I don't know. But today we laid to rest Shannon's mother today. So
Okay, wow.
we laid her to rest, and it was a beautiful ceremony. So so now it's time for some healing.
Wow,
Yeah,
definitely. My
yeah.
condolences, Shannon, man. Definitely keep you in prayer right now.
Thank
No
you.
doubt. Wow.
Thank you.
Look at you stepping in.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was cool.
Uh-huh.
Yesterday, so I've discovered this little park that has a beach on it. I don't want to tell people because I don't want everybody down there.
I
that
know that's
wanna see.
right.
I'll tell you about it
You
off
gotta
the air.
tell me.
But it's definitely in the cut and it's beautiful.
Okay.
And it's off the Chesapeake Bay. It's very, very nice. Some people may know. But
Okay.
anyway, I'm not gonna get into that part right there. So that was my Sunday. My Saturday, I slept
Did you really?
like the majority of the day. You know how you lay down so long, your back and your butt start hurting. You got to get on up.
Yeah.
I pulled one of those off.
I think I did
And
that
it's rare.
Sunday. That's why I can't remember that I was. Yes, because I think we slept till like about 2 in the afternoon.
Dang.
Yep, slept till about 2. Got up, made dinner and everything. Before
got
you
up to
know
make
it,
dinner.
yeah. Before you know it, it was like time to go back to bed. So I feel you, but it was well needed. It
You
was
need
well
one of them
needed.
days where your breath stinking all day.
Well, I don't know about if I
It's
did all
one of
that,
them
but
all day. You was in the bed all day, Negro. You ain't get up.
I did get up and brush my teeth down.
Oh, okay. Well, sometimes people just let it flow.
It's all good. Welcome to the Rebirth, everybody. If you would like to call in and talk to us, we haven't talked to anybody in a while on the phone. So if you guys want to call in, give us a call, 267-908-3166. Make sure you follow us on all social media outlets. And you can also find us wherever you get your podcast. Excuse me, podcast. So welcome to the Rebirth. I do have a big announcement to
Yes,
make. We have a
talk
big
about it.
announcement to make. So as you know, a couple weeks ago, we did our first Rebirth Live, and it sold out. It was an amazing time. Can that be found yet on our Heart Radio, Tasha? We haven't done that yet? Okay. Hopefully it'll be Hopefully, our producer will get it up soon. But anyway,
Her hair
Rebirth
look nice.
Live.
Big hair don't care.
Rebirth Live was an
A success.
absolute success,
Yes.
and we are coming back for Rebirth Live 2. Well, Volume 2, Love, Lust, and Relationships. I said it wrong again, didn't
It's
I?
all right. It's all right.
Anyway,
the
and-
second installment.
Right, right.
Of Love, Lust, and
Yes,
Relationships.
and that's going to be November 5th, which is a
Yes.
Saturday night. It's going to be at Revive on Philadelphia Pike in Wilmington, Delaware, from 6 to 10 this time.
6
So
to
we're
10.
going to take it a little bit longer, but we have a DJ, a live DJ that's going to be in the building. DJ GJ, Gary Johnson, is going to be
DJ GJ.
holding down the turntables.
That's what's up. That's
Do
a
they still
mouthful
use-
right there.
Do they still use turntables when they do that?
I think they got the little CDs. I don't know what
Well,
the
they
little
gonna be
things
holding.
are.
He gonna be
Yeah.
holding down something.
He holding down the ones and twos.
Right, right. So that'll be November 5th. The tickets
crowd
are
control.
available at Rebirth Live, the number 2, Rebirth Live, the number 2.eventbrite.com. Make sure you go in and get your tickets. The tickets are actually really low right now, so you have time to get them, but I don't know how long you're going to be able to get them at that price. So, you excited?
I'm very excited. I am looking forward to DJ. So that means we're gonna move them
Yeah.
tables out the way
We're
at a
gonna
certain
move-
time,
yeah.
and we're gonna get it
Yes,
cracking
sir.
up in there.
Yes, sir. We're going to
So-
get a little two-step going.
So not only are you gonna get an awesome panel with a great discussion, you're gonna now have a DJ. You're gonna have the bar, the cash bar be popping,
Speak to 'em.
and we're gonna just turn it into a little party after our adult conversation.
Indeed.
So what more can you ask for on a Saturday night? You know, in the town, in the city. Let's go, baby. We gonna kick it.
Absolutely. Yep. So I'm excited.
Yes.
All right, so that's all I have. So I guess we can go to. You ready for the right here, right now?
I'm ready for the right here, right now.
All
Do I
right.
get an intro or anything? All right, I'm just gonna go right.
I don't know. Our
Okay, hold
producer
on.
over there choking. You need some water?
You need some water. All right, you got yourself together, Lord Jesus. Jesus, be offensive. So tonight, y'all, right here, right now, I'm gonna do. I want to do our African American fact tonight. First,
Okay.
it's something, of course, we've been doing since Black History Month that we want to continue every week of every month to shine light on just exceptional African Americans in this country. Tonight, I want to shine the spotlight on Mr. David E. Harris.
Oh, I thought you would say David E. Talbot.
No, sir. David E. Talbot is awesome, but this man has done something a little more significant than David E. Talbot.
Okay.
So, does anyone know who David E. Harris is? Show of hands in the room.
No.
All right. So, David E. Harris is the first African American airline pilot.
Oh, nice.
In 1964, American Airlines hired Mr. David E. Harris, and he flew for American Airlines for 10 years. So he is the first African American male to become a captain. So within the airlines, the pilots, you know, there's rank. There's a captain, there's a lieutenant. He became the first African American pilot. So shout out to Mr. David E. Harris, and who was promoted in 1964 to become the first African American pilot. And Mr. Harris is still with us. He is 87 years old,
Wow.
and he is still out here in these streets.
Wow, that's what's up.
So shout
Now
out,
you coughing.
shout out to Mr. Harris. I'm gonna drink some water though. I ain't gonna suffer like Tyler. Just pardon me 1 second.
It's all good.
It must be something in the atmosphere. Some cotton in this moment. So moving on. So right here, right now, y'all. So if you listen, I'm happy about this, but I don't know if anything's gonna come of it. So former President Donald Trump, Mar-a-Lago, his residence was raided by the FBI last week, and apparently this fool took highly classified documents from the White House and took them to his personal residence. According to the FBI, they had asked for these documents prior to the raid. They weren't getting a response from him. They've been trying to get documents back from him since January. And he has either did not respond, or his lawyers gave some kind of crazy answer about they didn't have this and have that. So a warrant was written by a local judge in Florida who gave the FBI permission, who granted them the what do they call it when you raid a place? The warrant.
The warrant.
The warrant to raid his place. Now, the evidence they must have had must have been serious enough because Florida, first of all, is a Republican state. We all know that.
Right.
And I'm sure that judge was a Republican, if I had to guess. But he granted them permission to raid his residence. So that tells me that there's some pretty strong evidence there that he must have some classified documents, which him removing those documents could be considered treason, which is a federal offense, which would disqualify him from running for president another time in the future. So my question is, why are you taking stuff that you shouldn't be taking?
Because he's Donald Trump. That's what he do.
Like, what are you doing?
Everything that he's done, Donald did a great job with knowing how to get around things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I feel like that's what he studied. He didn't study politics. He studied like that, you know, there's always a way to get something done that's probably like on the edge of illegal. I think he's like a genius in that area.
He straddles the line, right?
He definitely does.
One leg over here in jail, one leg out here free on the golf course.
Right, exactly.
So hopefully something comes of this because I'm sick of him. And even he's been gone for what, 2 years now? How long is it's been almost not quite 2.
Even know.
January would be 2 years he's been gone, I believe. Anyway, I'm sick of him and I hope something comes of this. But this Joker has managed to beat everything they've tried to throw at him during his whole presidential I said campaign during his whole presidency. So I hope something comes of this. So shout out to the FBI. I don't normally be big up in law enforcement, but shout out to the FBI and let's get this guy, man.
Oh,
Moving on.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but
I don't think it's gonna happen.
sounds good.
Shout out to 5'9". What up, Alice Jackson? Yeah, I don't think nothing's gonna happen either. But I'm just glad to just keep poking him. I don't care. Just keep,
for sure.
yeah, making it stressful for him.
For
So he's up
sure.
out this joint. So now, Shay,
Yeah.
let's get it. Let's get into tonight's
All right.
situation.
You got it. You running
So
it tonight.
I want to tap in with me, folks. Let me know what you think. So before we get into these marriages and these long-term relationships, is it necessary to have the whole phase? Should you, should we, should I, should Shay, or whoever, Tosh behind the scenes, is the whole phase necessary? Is that something that we need to work through and get out of our system before we get married? Let's talk about that real quick before we get into tonight's topic.
Yeah. So I think that you know, we refer to it as a whole phase, right? But if we want to break it down a little bit, right?
Let's break it down. Let's break it down.
What other way can we refer to it being? Because when we say whole phase, we know what we're talking about.
Right,
Most
right,
people
right.
know what we're talking about, but then we might have some people that feel like, oh, y'all just talking about just being a straight hoe and sleeping with everybody. But that's not necessarily what we're saying in a sense.
But sort of.
But, you know.
Well, so let's say just dating
Yeah.
multiple people at multiple times. And that don't necessarily mean you're sleeping with all of these people.
Right.
But should you go through that? Does that help you understand what you like and don't like and
Yes.
what you want and don't want in a relationship?
Yes.
It does?
Yes.
Okay. So prior to this show, you said you had a phase. We're not going to even put the H on it.
I did.
You had a phase. What prompted this phase? And then how did you know it was time to get out of that?
Yeah.
The H, we're going to call it the H
I was
phase.
trying to incriminate somebody.
Well, you know.
Crickets, right? Yeah.
Don't get quiet now.
Crickets.
That's like y'all asking me why
That's
do men
good.
cheat. Don't ask me.
All right. So, you know, I try to keep it real. So, yeah, I didn't have that during the time that I feel that I should have had that. Meaning I've always been in long-term relationships. So I think I was a serial relationship person.
Even
right?
in high school?
Even in high school.
So high school to early adulthood.
Till
Okay.
I got married.
How old were you when you got married?
I was 26.
Oh, dang. You did it early.
Yeah, I was 26 when I got married, and I was married for 16 years.
Wow.
So I didn't have my
H phase.
H phase, as you put it. I didn't have my H phase before I got married, because high school I was in a 2-year relationship, and then when I graduated, I was in another 2-year relationship, and then I ended up being in a 7-year relationship, and then I met my husband, and I was in a 16-year marriage.
Have you ever been single?
So I know.
Jesus.
Right, exactly. So I was always, like in a relationship. But even when I said that, oh, I'm just going to date or whatever, it was always like the person always end up, wanting more or tying it down,
So
see
was
a
it,
good woman, you want to tie that thing down,
oh
bro.
Lord. So listen, so was it a time where they wanted that from you, but you did not want that yet? You weren't ready for that, or did you just kind of go with the flow because they were good people and you kind of got
so
coerced?
I think early on it was probably some relationships I probably should not have committed myself to, but it was one of those things where it's just like, that's before I knew what a healthy relationship was supposed to look like, right?
Okay.
And that was also during a time where I didn't really understand myself and who I was. So, during that time early on, it's just like you date people, you're with people, you're searching for certain things. For me, I was just, I wanted to feel loved. I wanted somebody to choose me, right? So if that person seemed like they were interested and really wanted something significant, then it was just like, no matter what I felt, I was like, okay, cool. We boyfriend and girlfriend. We're in a relationship, right? So is this how it's supposed to go? But again, that's very, very early on in in my life. Now, of course, I know better. So my phase happened after I got divorced. After I got divorced, yeah, man.
You was in them screeches. Don't be ashamed. It's all right.
You know what, Tosh? All right, enough with the sound effects.
But you know what, Tosh? Here's the funny thing about Shay's H phase.
Oh.
She's very smooth with it. And every time I talk to Shay, she's like, oh, yeah, I met this guy and blah, blah. It's like, hold on, is this what happened to him? Oh, no, I'm like, what? I could not keep up with him.
Oh,
I mean, her pimp hand was strong. Or they say down south, strong.
That's crazy.
With a K.
That's crazy.
So how did you know it was time to like, all right, I got to get up out this. I had my fun. I did what I did. How did you know it was time to come up out the H phase?
Yeah.
Was there a moment, something that clicked in you?
Yeah, it did.
Did you get pregnant during that? That's why I said you got pregnant during the H phase.
You're right. I would definitely be a miracle if that happened. Definitely. No, so let me see. I was single for what? I think I was single for like a good 6 or 7 years.
Was it that long?
Yeah. I was.
Wow.
Listen to Tasha.
I did not realize it was that. It was 6. Are you serious?
Yeah, I was single a good 6 or 7 years.
Oh yeah, you did some pimping in that 6 years.
I had a good time. I enjoyed, but that gave me time to really spend with myself and date myself and understand. Because you got to understand your own company, first of all. You got to make
Speak
sure.
on that. Speak to the ladies out here.
You have to. So one of the things I had to learn how to do was I had to first mourn and grieve my marriage. And I had to mourn and grieve what I thought my life was supposed to look like and be open to what the life that God had for me. So in order for me to do that, I had to get to know who I was during this time in my life.
Right.
At the age that I was and my career, everything, right? And I had to relearn myself and find out who Shay was and what I liked, what I didn't like. I would date myself. I would take myself to dinner. I didn't have a problem going anywhere by myself. And I thought that was like amazing, to be able to get to that point where you're so used to being with somebody else, your identity becomes, it meshes with the other person.
Oh, they go Shay and so and so. They go.
Right.
You do become one. They
You
don't mention one without the other. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, true
exactly. And and that's how it was. It was just like, oh, you're such and such wife. Oh, that's such and such wife. And I'm just like, Was that
more difficult for you when you were a stay-at-home mom? Was that something that because you really had taken on that person's identity during that time, right?
Yeah. But even when I had decided to stay home those 3 years, I still started a business from home where I had the catering company.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and I would
forgot about that.
Yep. And
the catfish is delicious.
So it was just like I always had some income coming in, regardless of what whatever. If I was staying home for 2 years, I think I stayed home for 3 years with my sons when they were born, but I was still doing my own thing,
Okay.
you know, at being home. So anyway, to answer your question, yeah. So I went through that phase, and what made me realize that it was time to come back in?
Pimping wasn't easy, huh?
Yeah, right. Pimping was easy. No. I realized that
It's not though.
I required a little bit more now.
Okay.
You know, like I had fun, I got my fun out and stuff like that, and I really realized what it was that I needed at this time in my life, and I start praying and asking God for specific things, and they were very different than what I thought I needed before.
Right.
You know, in other relationships and stuff. And I was glad that I got discernment for that, because I needed to know exactly, because we will sit there and we'll pray for all these things for God to send us, right? And then, you know, you missed a whole, you missed a lot,
Right.
you know, in that prayer. So I have really had to pray about what was really important for me. And I was becoming numb.
Like a
I
dude?
I guess what I would think how a dude would feel, I think that's what I was becoming. Yeah, I was becoming numb. Like I wasn't me. Because
Right.
I am a very loving person and affectionate and stuff like that. But I started to find myself like, I was starting not to be attached
So
to
were
people.
you? So let's say I'm gonna give you the dude what that vision looks like for a guy, and I want to know if this is what you were experiencing, because when a dude is
Killing
in
me
that
right
phase,
now.
all he's looking at is, you know, possible sex and the body. They're not really looking beyond that when they're in that phase. Is that where you were?
You know what? I can't stand him. Is my mama on?
Hey,
Is my mama on tonight?
I don't
Do you
get to
see her
hold
name
your.
on?
I don't get to hold your feet to the fire very often. You're being transparent. This is great.
That's what made me say that I wanted more. It was
Okay.
more. I wanted more.
Than just that.
Yeah, because I realized that if somebody really want to be with you or whatever, they gonna say or do whatever it is that they, you know. And
That
when
is
I
true.
saw the power that I had, right, I'm just like, okay. Eventually, it becomes like, all right, I don't feel like playing anymore. Like I want something a little bit more meaningful.
Substance.
Something with substance. So,
So last question, and I'm gonna let you off the hook here.
yeah, because you're killing me.
What would this age Shay say to 26-year-old Shay who got married, you know, right before she's about to get married? What would you say to that 26-year-old right now?
Tasha crazy. Wow.
What advice would you give 26-year-old Shay?
I would tell her, not just because you're married does not mean you still can't have your own identity.
Oh, I thought you were about to say just because you married on me, you still can't. About to say, whoa, it's another show.
I would definitely tell her that, because I was, and I can't even say that my mom raised me to think this way, because it wasn't. I think this is how the expectation of society, as well as growing up in the church, the whole thing of when you become one, you know, when you get married, and you know, I feel like I was an amazing wife, and I believe if you was to ask my ex-husband, he would probably say the same thing, you know, and he was a great husband, you know. So, but I think Tasha, she gonna get me choked out. So anyway, but I think that if I had to go back, I had to love me way more than I love the person that I'm with. You know,
Right.
And just because you get married or you get into a relationship doesn't mean you lose your identity of who you are. You got to remember, that's why the person fell in love with you in the first place.
Right.
Right? Because of you had something special about you that was unique.
Mm-hmm.
And we tend to give those things up when we come together as a couple or we get married, and we lose our identity.
Right.
And I feel like, you know, being married and experiencing that, which it was a great experience, but when it come to the end, I had to figure out who I was.
Right.
I had to relearn myself, and because I knew I was a wife, I knew I did that very well, and I was a darn good mom. I did that very well, but I had to figure out who Shay was.
Wow.
You know, and that part I wasn't doing well. Because when I look back, it was just like, man, I allowed a lot of things, not just in my marriage, but just looking back in other relationships. I felt like I made sure everybody else was good, but I wasn't. And you would get on me about that anyway.
I mean, you still do that to a degree. You better. You're better.
I'm better. Making sure. Yeah, but yeah. So that would be my conversation is to keep your identity, love yourself first more, and then everybody else come. First love God, and then yourself, and then everybody else comes after that. So yeah,
ladies. Spoken by.
You got anything else?
Shay Marriott.
Anything else you wanna?
I feel like I just want to do this right now. Cause you
know what?
But that's real talk. I think that's great advice. I think that hindsight being what it is and it's so many things that we're not told by our parents, and especially if you're shaped by the church, if your views and your thoughts are shaped by the church. And there's nothing wrong with the church. I don't go. There's nothing wrong with the church. However, I just think that sometimes the church does us a disservice in certain ways. That not intentionally. I don't think it's intentionally, but I just think the church isn't realistic about what people encounter every day in the real world. Your everyday walk, your walk in life is not. It's so far away from what the church is talking about.
Right.
And I think it gets us in trouble sometimes because and you lack experience. You didn't have your age phase to wait later on in life. Had you had it then, before you got married, you'd already known that, okay, this is what I want, and this is what I'm ready for.
Right.
Because you didn't have that phase because of the church or because of monogamous relationships. Not encouraging anybody to be out there in these streets. I'm just saying, I think that the church sets us back sometimes. It's just my opinion. All pastors, ministers, you can direct all the energy to me. I'm good with it. All right.
Yeah. What about yourself?
And that is the age phase by Shay Marriott.
That is the age phase. I had fun in my age phase. I ain't even gonna lie. But it was time to come in, and I'm in a good space, a good, healthy relationship.
Awesome.
And God sent me exactly what I prayed for.
Tasha, do you have a question or a comment?
Yes, I have a question.
For who?
For Shay.
Can you please take her mic? When did you get a mic?
Shay, why is she saying like it's 30 people in here?
Right. Yes, can I take your question, please?
Yes, my question is, had you had your H phase in the beginning before the marriage, do you think the marriage would have lasted that long? Because of, what you like, don't like, and the kind of...
That's a good question. Had I had my H phase in the beginning, would the marriage have lasted? Well, you know what? And that's a good question. And I don't know because the question for me would be, would I still have gotten married? Okay. You know what I'm saying? And I really don't know because to be honest with you, we had a great marriage. We really did. It just ended. We went different ways. Some things happened, but it just ended. But my whole marriage was not bad. It was the very, very end. And the end only got bad is because of what I came across, and that was pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? But prior to me even knowing other things, there was no issues. We wasn't arguing, we wasn't fighting, we wasn't, so that's why it was such a big shock when we did break up. Everybody, Eli, I tell you, everybody was just like floored, like what?
Barack and Michelle, we couldn't believe it.
Yeah, so
damn.
So I don't know. I don't really know I don't think that would have made a difference too much. I think it may have helped me be a little bit more understanding in regards to what I need for myself. What I need for myself, and not what I think just because it's here and it wants me. I got to make sure that I want it as well.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that has been a lot of my situations. It's hearing it once me and that desire be so strong, and it's just like, oh, okay, you know. But I also said, and I've shared this before, that came from not having a relationship with my dad, and my dad not, you know, always wanted to have that father and daughter relationship. So when, for me as a little girl, it was just like, well, why aren't you choosing me, right? And that grew up with me in my relationships. So if that person chose me, then it was just like, for me, it was something that automatically just pulled me in, not even thinking about, okay, well, how do you feel, Shay? What are you feeling about this person? What are you feeling? You see those red flags, you know, what are you going to ignore them? Or is it going to change? Right. So, yeah.
Did that make you date older?
I've always dated, well, that's a lie, not in my whole face.
Nah, you was dipping your toe in the baby pool for a minute. Down in the little shallow side, the little shallow pool with the kids down there. I remember that. Like, he's 31. What? Girl. you gonna,
Shut up.
Young boy gonna kill you. Oh, boy.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Eli.
No, I'm just saying you.
No, anyway.
Did that lend itself to you dating older?
I always dated older guys. I did. I always dated older guys. Except for after I got divorced. And it wasn't me. It wasn't that I was looking for someone younger, but that's what was approaching me. Ooh, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you. So, yeah.
We're not. Yo. All right. We're going to leave you alone.
Thank you.
It's
My
all right.
God.
You passed the test tonight.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Whatever.
All right.
So are you ready to go to the topic?
Let's get to the topic. This concludes our conversation on the H phase. She don't want to. She know my life already. Don't nobody want to hear all them shenanigans and stories. I got them for you, but that's another show. So
right.
Tonight, let's get into our topic. So me and Shay, I sent Shay a couple of topics today that we wanted to discuss, and Shay chose the one that I wasn't researching. So, however, are we able to play it, Tosh? So we're gonna do a little preview to get into our topic for tonight.
Flow from that place. Another translation says it determines the course of your life. So guard your heart. If we really think about some of the most pain that we've been through, most of our problems came from people, interacting with people, dealing with certain people. I've learned personally, God has graced certain people for you. Pastor Gail said there are two types of people. She said there's some people you just have to let go of. You just gotta let them go. You just gotta go ahead and just cut ties with and just move on. And then there are some people that you have to learn how to fight for. And the challenge of life is finding out who's who. Who are the people you fight for, and who are the people you go ahead and go your separate ways with. Else, because the issues of life.
Welcome back to the Rebirth.
Yes. So Shay, here's what I took. First and foremost, learning who to let go and learning who to fight for. Sometimes they have on the same outfit and they look the same, they smell the same, they move the same. That is key. What he said, you have to learn which one is which.
He said that's the challenging part.
That is a challenging part because sometimes they look just alike.
Yeah. This video, the reason why I didn't even listen to the other one, I don't believe.
That's okay.
When I listened to this one, it was something that I definitely could relate to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that ending part where he says the challenging piece is knowing which one to fight for. And it is so true.
Right.
It is so true. And I think for me, that is so important in a relationship, that because you're going to have challenges. You're going to have circumstances that are going to test you beyond. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. Right. And I think from my experience in the past, it is so important that if you are in my life, that you are taking a space in my life where when those challenges come, no matter what, you're willing to fight with me through it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that is just really, that's something that's really, really important. And I have been disappointed thinking that it was something else, where when we come across this, that person would be in that rink with me fighting, and they didn't. So when you find out you're the only one fighting for something, you know,
You're doomed.
it's, you can't, it takes two people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's why I picked this, because I thought it was very relatable, and I think it's very relatable to a lot of people, especially when do I leave?
Right.
How much time do I give this relationship? You know, so let's talk about it a little bit.
So we've had people here, and the one couple, I think it might have been the pastor and her husband, and I can't remember her name. She was a guest,
Pastor Delisa?
maybe Pastor Delisa, and her husband was sitting right there.
Yeah.
And she was saying how they fought for their marriage, they fought for their relationship. And I listened to what this young man was saying here, and she said they went through some ups and downs. It was physical, and I was like, whoa. And she's like, no, I was doing the physical. I was the one being physical. I was like, oh shit. But so when do you like to me, when we're getting to that point right there, that's when it's definitely time. But they chose to work through that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if once we start getting physical, then that's when I can't do that, because I don't want you hitting me, and I don't want to fight a woman. You know what I mean? Like, we just have to agree to disagree and figure out how we're gonna divvy up the little bit of nothing that we have, and what's in the best interest of this kid. But I will fight for it if I, but I'm not going to fight through physical, emotional, and mental hurt and abuse.
See,
I don't know if I'm willing to do that.
So I think the physical piece doesn't even come into play yet. People don't realize that the abuse starts emotionally. It starts
Absolutely.
mentally. It starts verbally, and then eventually the physical. So by the time it gets to the physical, they're not even realizing they're caught up in an abusive relationship or a toxic situation, because they start normalizing it, right? So
Right.
now we're yelling and we're screaming at each other, and we're calling each other's name we're calling each other outside of our names, right? So we're doing that a couple of times, boom. Now that becomes normal for us. So now when we get in an argument, we're doing something that we consider to be normal, which is toxic, and now
Right.
it's going to the next level of things, right? And then we keep normalizing it, and then it ends up physical, right? So, it's like a cycle you get caught up in. You said, I'm not willing to fight when it's emotional, verbal, and mental abuse, and
physical.
physical.
More so
abuse.
physical. I figure we can work through the other things. Won't necessarily get the police involved, because I ain't trying to go to jail. But I don't want my child to see, because you know what? Just as it becomes normal for us, it becomes normal for our children.
Absolutely.
And if our children see us fussing and fighting, then that's going to be a normal part of her relationship. One day she's going to smack her boyfriend, and he's going to hit her back, maybe, give or take, depending on the kind of guy he is. And then that's going to be the normal of their relationship. F-U, N-word, F-U-B. Like, it'll become one of those type of relationships, but they'll still be together.
Yeah.
Functioning in dysfunction. Like, so there are certain things that I don't want to present. I don't care what I do. I don't. It needs to be between you and I, first and foremost. And my thing as a person, as a father, like, that's always my biggest concern. I want to set the example for my daughter, so she doesn't think that she has to deal with any foolishness, because that's not what you saw. So why are you even engaged in a situation like that?
Exactly.
That's what it is for me.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't want nobody hitting on me. That's just what it is.
Yeah. And that's so important. That example, that role model is important, right? And that's where I was saying that was the piece that was missing, because your father is the first man that shows you how a woman is supposed to be treated. So when that doesn't happen and you're receiving, different signals from different places,
right,
then, your expectation of how you should be treated is very cloudy.
Absolutely.
Is very cloudy. So the question is,
well, let me say this before you go there. And the one thing that we don't talk about enough is that men with daddy issues. You know what I'm saying? Like we talk about mommy issues and this and
Right.
that, girls with daddy issues. There's some men out here, and I may be one of them that I didn't have that example to show me. My dad wasn't there. I never saw my mom. I really didn't see my mom in a relationship. I never saw my mom interact with a man. And I think I said this before, but then I had a little brother. I was like, where the hell he come from? Because there's been no man over here.
Right.
And my mother don't really go out that much. So how did this happen? But as an adult, I get it. You know, grown people gonna do what grown people gonna
Right.
do. However, but I didn't have a bad example. I just had no example.
Yeah.
And that's worse sometimes than
Yeah.
having, somebody there. So let's not discount men with daddy issues. That's very important. So I think when women are looking at their men and their behavior, they have to kind of understand, maybe where that came from, what they saw, or what they didn't see. So
Yeah.
it goes both ways.
Absolutely. It definitely does. I mean, what have you saw? Do you know any men that have daddy issues? And if so, what kind of symptoms
So
do they
I'll
show?
give you a prime example. And this dad was around. I'm gonna be careful not to call any names. So let me just set this scene. So I have a friend that his father, great man, right? But the mom pretty much ran the whole entire show. She really, so the phrase "she wore the pants,"
Right.
it was her. Everything ran through her, and I think because like they would go ask their dad, can they do something? He would always say, go ask your mom.
Okay.
But I'm asking you, you're my dad. Like, can
Right.
you tell me, can I go play ball or not? Go ask. Everything was go ask your mom. So now I think here's one thing that I think that I see from him as an adult, because of how his father was. I think he exerts himself to a higher level of I am the man. Like, I'm the man of this ship. I wear the pants. I'm the man. There's no question about in his mind who's running this household. And I think that's because of how he saw his father. Now his dad was a very nice man, but he just was like, you gotta ask your mom.
Right.
But because of that, everything runs through him now
Okay.
as an adult.
Gotcha.
Nothing per se runs. If he says it goes, it goes. If he says it stops, it stops.
Okay.
Whether it makes sense or not. So there are different examples of that other than just a relationship, how you treated your wife or husband aspect. But there are other issues, things like that relate to daddy issues, I think. You know what I mean? Not just your dad not being there or not being shit.
Yeah.
It's deeper than that.
Yeah.
Because his dad was there and still there.
So I see when I think about it, what comes to mind is I see men that are very emotionally like in prison, meaning they don't know exactly how to show their emotions, and when they do, it presents as anger, right? And having a deeper conversation, it usually stems from, well, I was told not to. I was told to suck it up. I was told to, my dad didn't allow me to be emotional. My dad challenged me. My dad will like try to fight me, as a man or whatever,
Or he just never saw that either from his dad. He never saw his dad be emotional.
Right. Absolutely. So, and these are things like conversations that I've had with some brothers that has had that, toxic relationship with their father or none. And that's how it kind of shows up for them. And they bury it too. They may not really react or,
Deal with it.
Yeah. They'll kind of bury it. So, the question is though, how do you know who's worth fighting for and who's not? And I think in my opinion, I think that goes along with having some type of spiritual relationship, because you need to pray about people in your life. And you need to ask God to show you who's worth fighting for and who's not. Because I don't know how else to do that. That's how I did it, to be honest with you.
Right.
That's how I did it, and that's how I made the decision that I made. But you have to and even with making that decision, even if you say, okay, I'm going to stay and I'm going to give that person another chance, and that person continues to do it, you realize that this is not about me. And when you realize that it's not about you, that it's more about this person, sometimes there's nothing you can do but allow that person to go through whatever it is they need to go through.
Yeah.
You know, because no matter how hard you're fighting, they're fighting just as hard to be away from you or to sabotage it, to continue to sabotage it even further. You know?
That's true.
So I think you have to have some type of spiritual relationship to really pray and ask God to show you, give you something to help you, know where you're supposed to be at, who's supposed to be in your life.
Well, what about when we do that, right? Because I know, we do that. We pray and we may ask God for, for discernment. We may ask God to reveal things to us. And then God is showing us and we still stay.
Right.
And deal with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole nother.
Yeah.
And then that's when it's about you more so than the
Right.
person doing what they're doing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I do believe that we need to ask for, just signs and things, because sometimes we see it and we know we see it.
Yep.
We just need to, I don't know why we have to have it verified. I don't know. As humans, we have to know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he smacked me, but that don't mean he don't love me. Or she, let me stop saying he all the time. Yeah, she smacked me. Because women are abusive too. But I think we see
absolutely.
things. I think we see things and we ignore. Because we want it to work so bad.
Yeah, you do. You want it to work so bad. And then on top of that, there's things that are out there. Like, you have people that think you might have the perfect relationship, a perfect marriage, and you don't want that image to be, tainted. So you try your best to stay. You have people
more
that
work than the actual marriage, making it right.
It is.
Yeah.
You have people that feel responsible for their partner's behavior. Well, they're acting like this because I did this, or if I did this, then they probably wouldn't have done that. Right. And then you also have those same people that blame it on their spouse as to why they did certain things. Well, I cheated because you mentally was not there for me. Okay. So you physically cheated for something that you was missing mentally. Okay, got it. So, it's just different things that we tell ourselves to make us stay in relationships. Think about people that have children. That's the first thing people say. Well, I'm staying because, we have kids together. And I tell anybody, I had kids. I do have kids. But I didn't stay. And initially, that was something I was going to stay for. But, at the end of the day, as long as your kids see that you're happy, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine.
I think that, and you're right. I think there are a lot of kids who they roll with the punches and they're fine and they're still well-adjusted people. And then there are some kids who fall completely apart and they don't recover from their parents not being together. And I used to say this and I've said this on this show before. And if I found out something was, I would stay. I would stay for my child. I would stay so she can continue to have the life that she has. If it was a situation to where, all right, I did that, I messed up, I won't do that again. I don't know. However, it would happen, because I want so badly for my kid to have the life that I didn't have. Like that's very, very important to me. So, and because my kids, but the one that's in the house now, because she didn't ask to be here. We made that conscious decision to have her. So I think there's a deal. There's a part of that bargain. We got her. She's healthy. She's smart. She does what she's supposed to do. So our end of that bargain is to beat her and make sure that her life is stable and she becomes this great person that we can foster her to be. Like, to me, I just can't cop out on. It would have to take something really extreme for me to be like, all right, I'm out, because I just can't leave I can't see myself leaving my kid, even though she's older. I just can't see not waking up and walking down the hallway and there she is every day. For me, that's important.
Yeah.
Or her knocking on my door. Dad, you got clothes on before. Yeah, stop coming in here. With the door closed. There's a reason the door is closed. Just don't walk in here.
Right.
I would, I need that.
Yeah. But see, and that's respect, right? So you are able to identify what's more important to you. And sometimes people are not. Sometimes people are so caught up in their own selfish behaviors of what they want to do that they're not thinking about those things, what you're saying. So if I'm laying up with this person, I'm not realizing that this could cause me not to be able to see my child every day. that I look forward to seeing every day because I'm making this decision to be with this man or to be with this woman, right? Not really looking at the consequences, and you're just really you're really rolling the dice on what might happen.
That is true. True.
Right? And life changes. It changes like that. And you can't go back to that. You can't go back to it regardless. Even if you stay in the relationship and decide to work on it and heal from it, it will never go back to what it was.
Right. It'll never be the same.
It will never be the same. It'll be different. It might be better. But it will never be the same. And I know even for me, although I am in a new relationship and it's a great relationship and it's a healthy relationship, I still believe that people are human, and because you're human, you're faulty.
Right.
So I can't. I would love to say that, oh, my dude would never do anything like that to me, and I truly believe that he wouldn't. But at the end of the day, he is also human.
Right.
And I'm human, so we are faulty, and that was the difference between now and the 26-year-old, 30-year-old version of myself, because in my mind was, as long as I do this, and that, then I can protect my relationship from infidelity. I can protect my marriage from infidelity as long as I'm doing this, and that. And that's not how it works.
Right.
Because even when you think you have a happy household and everything is going good, that person still has the opportunity to decide if they want to step out or not.
Right.
It's a choice. It's a choice. Right?
Absolutely.
Any one of us in here can walk out and say, I'm not going to the house right now. I'm going to go do this. It will be a choice. And it might not be nothing going on in your household. Your household may be doing, everything's good. But because you made a personal choice to step out, then that's what it is.
Why are you looking at me when you said that?
Because it just got quiet in here.
Tosh, why is she like she trying to get through to me? Don't be looking at me. You'll get a wrong impression. You look out there. You look out there when you talking. Tosh, she's staring at, the side of my head is hot over here. Like she's staring, like she giving me a session over here. You look the hell out there.
My bad.
When I was giving you the fourth degree, I wasn't staring upside your head like that. Don't be trying to play me, son.
No, man. No, not at all.
I'm kidding.
We just have a conversation. But I think, to pretty much to answer the question that we've been trying to answer, how do you know who to fight for and who to just let go?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? TD Jake said something a while ago that had hit me when I was going through my whole rebuilding my life process thing. And I happened to turn on one of his sermons, and he said this. And honestly, I feel like that was my my sign, right? Because how it happened. And I only heard this part of it, and it went off. He said, if somebody walks away from you, let them go. Let them walk. Don't ask them to stay. Don't do nothing to try to make them stay. Let them walk. He said, because if they were meant for you, if they're walking away from you, then your destiny is not tied to them. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes when we are in marriages, we think that we married the right person, and we may not have married the right person, and that's the other thing. And because
people get married for all sorts of reasons other than love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But love actually shouldn't be the reason why you get married either. That shouldn't be the sole reason.
Right.
Because you're gonna love someone, and that person can be definitely not the right person for you.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Uh-oh.
when I saw that, I was just like, it was just an aha moment for me, because you constantly try to make people, see things the way or believe that you can heal and move past certain things. But unless that person is really ready to do that and do the work, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So when he said that, it just resonated. It was just like, if somebody walks away from you, don't ask them to stay. Just let them go. And I truly believe that was something, because I don't believe, had I stayed, that everything that's going on right now with Rebirth and my career, like all the things that
That's a good point.
I feel that God is using me in to do, I don't think it would have happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I believe, and that's why we're able to be friends and be cool, because, you know, my destiny was really not tied to that person. We were in our lives for the wait as long as we were supposed to be, and we co-parent very well, and we're cool and we're friends. But then, you know, we both have different lives now.
Right.
And I'm okay with that, and that's good.
Let me give you the blasphemous version of what you just said.
What?
You quoted T.D. Jakes. I'm gonna quote Pimpin' Ken.
Oh Lord.
We don't chase them, we replace them. And scene cut.
You know what?
I just said what you just said.
Pimpin' Ken.
I just said what you just said in 6 words.
I can't with you. I cannot.
We don't chase them, we replace them. Well, what T.D. Jakes say? Let them walk, let them go,
Let
right?
him walk. Let him go.
So you're not
That's right.
chasing them,
Nope.
right? You end up replacing them, then you.
Huh?
Pimpin' Ken. There you go. Tosh, I can't get no applause.
Tosh, don't do it.
T.D. Jakes and Pimpin' Ken said
Don't
the
do it,
same
Tosh.
thing
No,
in
don't do
different
it.
ways. They said the exact same thing.
Don't do it, Tosh.
That's it.
Don't feed into that. Well, I don't know if we ever got the question answered or not, but we
I
have
think you
come
did,
to the
though.
end of the show.
I think you did. Like, you need to pray and ask for, you know,
Yes.
God to show you.
Yes. Yeah.
And listen to your crazy auntie. Sometimes they know what they be talking about.
And listen to your intuition.
Yeah.
Not even talking about the auntie, but a lot of things we already know. It's right there, and we continue to, you know, ignore it, but yet we continue to complain and complain.
Right. Right.
So, like, come on, life is too short. If you're not happy, if you're in something and it's not healthy, you gotta remove yourself away. You gotta remove yourself out of it. Life is too short, and there's so much life to live. So,
Amen.
so sending prayers out to anybody that's out there that is struggling. It's not a good place to be. I was there before, and I'm definitely a witness that you can renew, rebuild, and restore your life.
Amen.
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 Let the church say.
Yes, yes.
All right.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the Rebirth on Philly Jams 95.3. We are here every Monday night at 7 p.m. Real talk with real people about real topics. Come on now, Eli.
It's getting late. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Guys, make sure you go to Rebirth Live, the number 2.eventbrite.com and get your tickets. We are coming back to Revive venue located on 729 Philadelphia Pike in Wilmington, Delaware, November 5th. We will be in the building, and this is going to be even better than the first one. So we are very excited about that. Okay.
All righty.
Any other announcements?
That's it for me. Hey, you know, have a blessed week.
Yeah. Well, before we go, I gotta send a special happy birthday. I got a lot of August babies coming up.
Shout them out.
So shout out to my son Bryson Marriott. He's going to be turning 16 on Sunday. Shout out to my man Shannon Marriott. It's his birthday on Sunday as well.
You're not going to
And
announce
my
his age?
I'm not announcing his age. And shout out to my mother Eileen
Okay,
Williams.
Miss Eileen.
Her birthday is on next Monday. So
Amen.
yeah, I'm trying to think anybody else. Who else we met? Oh, shout out to Shonda and Gary Johnson for their anniversary. And Stephanie and Brian Johnson on their anniversary.
That's what's up.
So,
And I think Michael Jackson's birthday is on August 29th. Let's shout out the King of Pop. No, I'm being for real. Shout out Mike, baby.
Good night,
shout out
everybody.
to Jen, Scylla, and 5'9". Thank y'all for tuning in.
and yes, so my producer is telling me, she's like, look, don't forget to mention my book. Okay. Rebirth Journal. Those of you that have it, you already know what it's doing. So if you are looking to rebuild, restore, renew your life, make sure you check it out. Go to Linktree, put in Rebirth, and it should come up for you. Or you can go to our Instagram and you'll see the link on our page. You can order it at Linktree/Rebirth, the letter U. And that's called My Rebirth Self-Healing Journal. All right, guys. Thank you, Tosh.
All right.
Oh, hold on, guys. Wait a minute. This Saturday, Tasha will be in a play, right? Okay. Hope's Alley.
Yes, at Theater Inn, right?
Yes, Theater Inn, Hope's Alley. Tasha will be in the play, so make sure you guys.
Super producer.
Yes. Go out and support her. Go out and support her.
Just trying to get that Emmy.
Yeah. We got a
do
lot
that.
of good things. A lot of talented people here. So,
No doubt.
all right, guys, have a blessed rest of the night and a blessed week. We will see you next Monday. Good night.
Peace.